everybody, today we're going to talk about percents, decimals, and fractions. A percent represents the piece of a total quantity. The cent corresponds to 100. So our part looks at our little piece of the total group we started with. There are three basic ways to write a percentage. We can write a fraction, we can write a decimal, and we can write a percentage. Let's start with looking at decimals to percents. To convert a decimal to a percent, we multiply by 100 and add the percent. We could also look at this as moving the decimal place 2 places to the right. For example, if I have the decimal 0.57, when I multiply by 100, it's going to move the decimal places 2 points to the right. This is equal to 57%. If I had 0.3264, I'm going to multiply by 100 or move the decimal place 2 places to the right, which gives us 32.64%. If I'm given 0.05, I'm going to move the decimal place 2 places to the right, which gives us 5%. We can drop the 0 in front of the 5 because it doesn't add any value to our number. Lastly, if I have 1.25, I can again move the decimal place 2 places to the right, which becomes 125%. When we move from percents to decimals, we can divide by 100, or we can move the decimal place 2 places to the left and drop the percent symbol. For example, if I have 18%, I'll move the decimal place 2 places to the left, which means now I have 0.18. Let's say I had 34.5%. Again, I'm going to move the decimal 2 places to the left, which gives us 0.345. If I have 4.05%, again, I'll try to move the decimal place 2 places to the left. But since there's only one number to the left of the decimal, we want to put in a 0 in front of the 4. Now I can move my decimal point 2 places to the left. I get 0.0405. When I look at 2%, there's only one digit. I'm going to put a 0 in front of the 2. Now I can move my decimal point 2 places to the left, which gives me 0.02. If I have 0.8%, I don't have any numbers to the left of my decimal place. So I'm going to put in 2 zeros this time. That way, when I move my decimal place 2 places to the left, I get 0.008. If I have half of a percent, the first thing I want to do is rewrite 1/2 as 0.5. Now that I have 0.5%, I know that I need to add 2 zeros in front of the decimal place, and then I can move my decimal 2 to the left to get 0.005. To change a fraction to a percent, we're going to start by converting the fraction into a decimal. Once it's a decimal, we'll multiply by 100, and then we're going to add the percent sign. Let's start with 3 over 4. 3 over 4 as a decimal is 0.75. When I multiply by 100, I know I'm going to move the decimal place 2 places to the right, which gives me 75%. Some fractions are going to have repeating decimals or are not going to have a nice little finite decimal representation, and that's okay. Look at 1 over 7. It becomes 0.14285. I'm going to round that to 0.1429. Now I'll move my decimal place 2 places to the right, which gives me 14.29%. 5 over 6 has a repeating decimal. It's 0.8333, and the 3 keeps going. I'm just going to leave it as 4 decimal places, and then I'm going to move my decimal 2 to the right to get 83.33%. My last one says 7 over 10, which becomes 0.7 or 0.70. When I move my decimal to the right, I now have 70%. To finish up, let's look at some mixed fractions. I'll start with 6 1/4%. Remember, 6 1/4 is like 6 plus a quarter. I'm going to change the fraction into a decimal. 1 over 4 is 0.25, so 6 plus 0.25 is 6.25%. To move the decimal place 2 to the left, I need to put a 0 in front of the 6. Now I have 0.0625. Let's try that again with 8 2/5%. I'll start by expanding that to 8 plus 2/5%. Then you could grab your calculator and say 2 over 5 is equal to 0.4. Now I have 8.4%. Because I only have a single digit of 8 to the left of the decimal, I'll add a 0 in front of the 8. Then when I move my decimal 2 places to the left, I get 0.084. Now that we know how to convert fractions, decimals, and percentages, we're ready to look at some word problems.